Hey guys, it's Prince Rich with Rich Technology Group, and in today's video, I'm going to give you guys an in-depth review of RingCentral's voice over IP phone system for 2021. So if you're watching this video and you've been on the fence or you've been contemplating if RingCentral is good for your business or not, or just you're curious about what is RingCentral, what do they offer, and what should I expect in the general sense of having their service for my business, this is the video for you, and I would encourage you to grab a pen and pad and feel free to take notes. We got a lot to go over in this video, so I'm going to stick to my notes and I'm going to try to get through this as quickly as I can for you guys, but give you all the information you need. So anyways, RingCentral, first of all, is definitely without question in the top 3 VoIP service providers that we, help broker or help consult with customers on that call us from all over the United States, looking for assistance to figure out what the best business phone system is for their business and their scenario. RingCentral was founded in 1999, and they're headquartered out of Belmont, California. Their annual revenue for 2020 was reported at approximately $1 billion. Unlike some of the other voice over IP providers that we've reviewed, RingCentral is strictly commercial only. Why do I mention that? Because some of you may be watching and wondering, is RingCentral, kind of like your Vonages of the world? Do they have a residential or something like that? Or like your Oomas of the world? Do they have a residential package and a commercial package? RingCentral, as far as we know, is strictly commercial services. They do not offer any type of residential package that we know of. You can have their service in a home office, but it's still very much a commercial package that is quoted or contracted on a business or business entity. One other thing I wanted to throw out there as well that I left out of my notes is RingCentral is actually part of the AT&T conglomerate. They're owned or operated by AT&T, even though they're their own separate brand. So there's something to be said for being in one of the top, you could say the top 3 or the top 10, most prominent voice over IP providers out there, and being part of AT&T, which everybody knows what that is, and they're not going anywhere. They're a pretty stable company in regards to uptime, backbone, financial standing, and all those kinds of things. Let's see here. RingCentral is also the owners of the popular software Glip, which is a widely used virtual meetings and team messaging software. So for those of you out there that use Glip, you didn't know it, now you know that RingCentral owns that. And if you're using Glip and then using another phone system, might be worth taking a look at RingCentral, because then you can integrate your Glip directly into RingCentral, and then you've got a pretty awesome package going on then. Let's see here. RingCentral pricing starts at approximately $29.99 to $59.99 per month per user. And I know some of you watching this are probably like, whoo! First and foremost, RingCentral is not the cheapest provider out there. They are actually open and honest about that, and even we're open and honest about that. I have worked with hundreds of people to help them adopt or look at RingCentral to see if it's a fit or not for them. And one of the things that we found that's interesting with them is while their prices are high, their features are relatively unique and incredible in some regards, and you can justify the price. Before we move on from price, their prices are negotiable, especially if you're going through a dealer like us. So as always, like I mentioned, if you're watching this and you're interested in RingCentral, know you will not get our pricing typically if you go to them direct. Our service is free, and if you come directly to us, we can get you a lot better pricing than what I just mentioned. Sometimes as high as 30 to 50% off, depending on your scenario and how many extensions you've got and what it is that you're trying to do. So the moral of the story before we move on, come to us first if you want the Prince Rich pricing, as we actually call it at RingCentral. Standard contract terms with RingCentral is 24 months. I very rarely see anybody do a month-to-month or a 12-month with RingCentral. RingCentral is one of those providers, while we love them to death, they tend to hike the price up on you pretty significantly if you try to go below 24 months, especially if you try to go to month. You're going to end up probably getting quoted a price even through us that you're not going to like. So we find that most customers that I've worked with, they choose the 24-month agreement to get a really aggressive discount that we can get them, but also get access to the features that they need and whatnot. Let's see here. As I already mentioned, RingCentral actually has a lot of features. They are one of the more feature-rich platforms that we work with on a daily, weekly, yearly, annual basis. They have a lot of features built in, even on the standard and premium levels. So that's kind of what you're paying for. We actually gave RingCentral the most feature-rich, VoIP service provider of the year award back in our VoIP Awards 2021 event in late February of 2021 because of just the sheer amount of features that they offer included in their package. Let's see. RingCentral will allow unlimited calling to USA and Canada. So for anybody that's watching that you're a Canadian business or a US-based business and you need to call back and forth or both, they would be a great fit for you. I personally have actually worked with businesses to adopt RingCentral that are in the US, as well as recently I worked with a company that was like it was like a holdings company that had like 7 different companies in Canada, but they had customers in Canada as well as in the US, and we set them completely up with RingCentral. So US or Canada, whether you're based in one or the other or calling one or the other, they can do both, and that's considered, unlimited long distance calling with no extra fees. RingCentral is a HIPAA compliant platform, and they are one of the few carriers that we work with that will go out of their way to custom tailor with their internal legal staff a BAA agreement for medical companies or people in telehealth or whatever it may be that you're doing in the medical profession, where you need the verbiage in your BAA to be a certain way for legal or compliance reasons. I'm not saying that RingCentral's attorneys are going to throw themselves under the bus with their agreement, but they will typically go out of their way to revamp and revisit the BAA to make sure that it's to your needs within their attorneys, within RingCentral's attorneys or legal team guidelines and things like that. Let's see here. All right, so let's hop into the pros and cons of RingCentral. Pros. As I already mentioned, RingCentral has features, a lot of features. They are one of the most feature-rich platforms that we've seen out there. I mean, just their list of features, depending on what tier you go with, it's crazy. Not only that, they've got this awesome back-end team collaboration tool that allows for file sharing, private chat, group chats, instant video meetings with internal staff. Their mobile app is probably one of the most feature-rich mobile apps of the UCaaS bunch that we work with, and their desktop app is more or less the same. Also, their mobile app does have MMS. I want to throw that out there just so I don't forget about that. They're one of the original providers that had MMS in their mobile app before everybody else kind of jumped on that bandwagon when MMS and the mobile app started becoming in demand in recent events in 2020 when everybody had to disperse and social distance and work remotely and virtually. Pro number 2, RingCentral, while has mega discounts on IP phones. I've seen RingCentral get IP phones that would normally, and I'm not saying you'd be able to do this, it depends on your scenario, it depends on the promotions and the rebates that are going on with the provider. But I've seen RingCentral be able to get discounts for certain companies on IP phones down to almost 50 to 70% off regular price. So they can do some mega discounts on actual hardware when you buy it up front, where most other providers, they don't offer discounts like that. Why other providers don't offer it, I don't know. But RingCentral, we've found, tends to be the most aggressive at the discounts, promotions, and rebates that they're able to give on specific phones and models depending on your scenario and how many of them you need. Let's see. Pro number 3, RingCentral has probably one of the best video meetings platforms out there. It's called RingCentral Meetings, and we always joke in a lot of videos and say it's very Zoom-like. Why do I say that? Everybody knows what Zoom is. Zoom has their own phone system platform, but just to speak openly and honestly, Zoom's phone system platform is fairly new, called Zoom Phone. So in my humble opinion, RingCentral is a far superior phone system over Zoom Phone at the time of this video. However, I get a lot of people that because everybody knows what Zoom is and everybody's using Zoom because of, events that happened in 2020, they want familiarity. And RingCentral actually did a really good job at creating a video meetings platform that as we call it, is very Zoom-like. So you get a video platform that you and your staff and even people that aren't very technically savvy understand and know how to use, but then you've also got that integrated on top of a seriously feature-rich business phone system. It's like a match made in heaven. So if you're watching this and your business heavily relies on virtual meetings, but you would like a new phone system or like to have the two tied together, RingCentral is absolutely a great choice to potentially look at for a demo or something like that to see if that makes sense. Also, I want to throw out there that it is super popular, at least with clients that I've worked with, in the healthcare sector because they rely so heavily on virtual health meetings and things like that, or telehealth as they call it. And we've also found that RingCentral is highly favored in the virtual education sectors as well because of their video conferencing capabilities and platform. So the final pro, before we get into cons, is RingCentral is... What was I going to... I lost my train of thought here. I got a lot of notes here, you guys. Is RingCentral's mobile app is probably one of the most feature-rich mobile apps that we've seen. I already mentioned about the award that we gave them for most feature-rich provider, feature-rich platform in 2021 during our VoIP Awards ceremony 2021. There was a lot of reasons we gave them that award, but I will go as far as saying that their mobile app is probably one of the better mobile apps out there compared to all of their competitors. Now, I'm not saying that their mobile app trumps like your contact center guys and all that kind of stuff, because that's a whole different breed of voice over IP. But for your UCaaS guys, they have one hell of a mobile app, you guys. Like I said, if you're watching this and you'd love to see a demo of it, we've done video demos of it, but I could also coordinate you a custom demo for you to see for yourself, and you'll see why I mention this. Okay, so let's hop into cons. Really, the only con that I could come up with, actually there's two. There's one that I left out. Oh yeah, never mind, it's in here. Really, the first con is, I got a few cons in here. First con is their customer service. RingCentral customer service ain't bad, but it ain't the best either. It's a mix between the United States and outsourced to the Philippines. Don't get me wrong, I work with these folks all the time and I don't personally have any issues with them, but I've heard some people in the past complain about language barrier, complain, I talked to a technician that was outsourced that didn't seem like they were really trained and they were reading from a script. It's definitely not the best on the market, but they get it done. I've personally not had any contacts or any accounts that have canceled because of RingCentral's customer service, but I've heard of other people that have canceled because of the customer service. You guys know me, even though we love RingCentral, I keep it transparent here. So if you're looking for like top-notch, the best customer service out there, end-all be-all, RingCentral may not be the one for you in that regard. So let's move on to number 2. Implementation with RingCentral can be rocky sometimes. Am I saying that your implementation is going to be a disaster? Absolutely not. But I've seen some scenarios where implementation could have been handled or could have been organized a little better. Methodically, it could have been organized a little better so that the client didn't have as many hiccups or maybe a little bit of downtime during the setup phase, or just methodically, it could have been planned a little bit better from an organizational standpoint so that the client was implemented a lot faster than what we saw, so that their transition period wasn't as long and drawn out. So that is one thing that I will go and say, is that their implementation isn't bad. They'll get it done, but I've seen some interesting scenarios, over the years working with hundreds of customers with RingCentral. Final con number 3 before I get into my final thoughts is RingCentral does not offer free phones at the time of this video. They're honest about that. They've never been one of the VoIP providers that offers free phones like you guys have heard me talk about over the years in different videos and whatnot. However, I've seen them get so low on discounts on phones depending on the scenario and depending on the phones that somebody wants in the company, that the phones are almost daggone near free. So that's one thing, is unlike some of the other providers you guys hear me talk about that offer free phones like a Vonage and an Xtiva, RingCentral doesn't offer free phones. So if you're looking for free phones, look elsewhere. Okay, final thoughts and comments before we wrap this up. RingCentral, we have found, is a top pick for people that we work with in the healthcare sector. I've worked with dozens and dozens. I probably worked with 100 people in the healthcare sector in 2020. because of events surrounding the pandemic and things like that. And I mean, we found that I want to say almost 70%, possibly higher, of people in the medical and telehealth fields that came to us when we put all the cards on the table and said, look at this one, look at this one, look at this one. They ended up going RingCentral. Feature rich, the ability to give you a custom tailored HIPAA compliant BAA for your insurance or for your legal reasons or compliance reasons or whatever. And their video meetings platform is just highly favored by people that are into the whole telehealth thing and whatnot. And virtual health and stuff like that. So that's one thing there. Already mentioned as well that RingCentral Meetings is highly favored by public education. I've actually personally worked some private education schools and opportunities where when we looked at 6 or 7 different options, RingCentral was the one that they went with to be able to create a schematic where their virtual meeting could connect with teachers, administration, students, and all be tied into the phone system as well, securely and safely. Customer service isn't the best, as I already mentioned, but they get it done. Implementation sometimes can be a little slow or rocky. I always tell customers all the time, just make sure they take really good notes when they're working with the implementation team and hold implementation team accountable. Like, hey, you said you were going to do this on this upcoming day, or you said you're going to do that. Don't be afraid to hold them accountable, because if they're holding you accountable for things you're going to get them and you're holding them accountable for things they say they're going to do in deadlines, really that only makes things go a little smoother and a little less, rocky without any cause or anything like that. As I already mentioned, they are probably one of the most feature-rich UCaaS service providers that we work with daily, weekly, monthly, yearly. So if you're looking for something that's got a lot of features in it for a good bang for your buck, even though RingCentral is not always the cheapest, you'd be surprised at what we can get the price down to with our special pricing and what you're actually getting in there with all the features and capabilities. It's pretty impressive. And then last but not least, pricing isn't the most competitive, but you absolutely get what you pay for, as I already mentioned. So, if you're watching this video and you're wondering, is RingCentral a good fit for me? I'm more than happy to get with my contacts at RingCentral and coordinate a custom demo for you so that you can see the platform, see if it makes sense. I could get with somebody over there so that you could check out the mobile app, check out the desktop app. RingCentral also even offers like 30-day trials and things like that, which we think is great if you want to try before you buy without any strings attached or something like that. As I already mentioned before, if you go to RingCentral Direct, you're probably not going to get our special pricing, so please contact us first if you would like our free consulting service to see if RingCentral makes sense for your business, and also if you would like our special pricing. If you found this video helpful, please like the video. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell because we upload new videos every single week. Prince Rich with Rich Technology Group, your go-to guy for the best deals on business, phone, and internet service in the United States. I'll catch you guys again in the next video.